All right, because I got to tell you, you're going to meet Chris this morning, and he's from Merritt Island, Florida, with his family. He has several real estate investment companies and a brokerage in Brevard. Is that right? All right, Brevard County. He's a licensed attorney and a licensed realtor in Florida. Started out in Ohio doing corporate and insurance litigation, and also then in 2003 turned to Florida and got licensed there as a realtor and as an attorney. As an investor, Chris owns a number of real estate investment companies and partnerships, and this is what you're going to learn about. Although some of the holdings are currently outside of Florida, he really concentrates right in Brevard County, Florida. He has many successes, and none greater than association with excellent investment partners. Take note of that. This is the stuff you got to start writing down, okay? He has invaluable resources and allowed for greater personal and financial growth. Let me introduce to you Chris McClatchy.
Thank you for that great introduction. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Come on, I know it's 8:30 on a Sunday morning. You can do better than that. It is Valentine's Day. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, first of all, I want to thank NREIA for having me. It is a privilege and an honor to be here today, to be in front of you. You know, I've given a number of seminars in a number of locations, but none I can think of. Some of them were in resort towns, but none of them were greater than here in the Caribbean. Is this fantastic or what?
Yes.
Everybody having a great time?
Yes.
Good, good. Well, this is advanced automation techniques, and at the beginning of the 20th century, the automobile was kind of a plaything for the rich. Not only did you have to have a chauffeur conversant on how to drive the automobile, he had to be conversant on how to work the inner workings of the engine. It was a complicated machine. One man had a vision to bring this luxury item to the average American. We've all heard the story of Henry Ford. Henry Ford's vision was to make sure that the average American could afford this great automobile. The difficulty was it was very costly and very time intensive to produce. Henry Ford knew that if he was going to provide this to the average American, he was going to have to change some things. Henry Ford did not create the automobile, and as some may differ to see, he did not actually create the assembly line either. He just perfected it. You see, in 1908, Henry Ford rolled out his first Model T, and the cost was $825. For the first time in history, the average American could afford this automobile. And the reason he could is because of Henry Ford and his assembly line. Henry Ford had automation. It was this automation that took the assembly time down from 12 hours down to just over 6. Furthermore, before Henry Ford's assembly line, they brought skilled craftsmen to the automobile to build it. When Henry Ford created the assembly line, for the first time in history, skilled craftsmen were no longer needed. The average person or worker would do the same job over and over, and by doing so became skilled. But by doing so, that time got cut down. The automation took effect, and he did this on an 8th grade education. One of the things you may not know about Henry Ford is that for the first 4 years, however, he didn't take a profit. He dumped all of that money back into the assembly line and making it even more efficient. For you see, as efficient as it was in 1908, he knew it could be better. And by dumping all of that profit back into the assembly line, 4 years later, the price of the Model T dropped from $825 to $575. Now, I don't know about you and me, but I can't remember the last time over a 4-year span that the price of an automobile dropped 30%. It's pretty amazing. But see, that's what we're here to talk about here today. We're here to talk about automation. how to create efficiency and time. We're going to talk about 3 things here today. Keep getting caught up in this cord. We're going to talk about automated lead generation. Doesn't matter if you have a full-time job. Doesn't matter if you have full-time obligations at home. And it doesn't matter if you are a full-time investor that happens to get caught up in the day-to-day tasks. We're going to show you how to create automation so that those leads keep coming in despite your busy schedule. We're going to show you how to create and automate your office through standard operating procedures, also known as SOPs. How to create virtual offices so that you can work from anywhere and your business keeps on going even when you're not. The third thing we're going to talk about is using a checklist system. Just like Henry Ford's assembly line, real estate can be almost an assembly line if you have the right checklists in place. You see, my product here today is about systems. You heard in my introduction that because of my association with a number of business partners, we've created systems and operating procedures in our business that help the business run even when we're not there. The cost of my product today is $9.95. I tell you that up front for 2 reasons. The first is I don't like any surprises at the end. We can all appreciate knowing what it is up front. The second is this. I want you to know what the price is so that as you're sitting here today, you can evaluate whether or not it will be worth it for you in your business. You see, I believe that it's a small price to pay because I believe that the American dream of financial independence is alive and it's doing well. It's so important, I'm going to say it again. The American dream of financial independence is alive and it's doing well. Despite what the media may tell you, I believe that it's entrepreneurship that is going to drive this economy out of the recession. And we also heard in the legislative update the other night that finally the government is starting to realize this as well. I believe that our goals are all the same. It's not the $1 million or any arbitrary number, we stick to it. It's the lifestyle that $1 million brings. You see, although we may have differing opinions as to the types of cars we want to own, the types of houses we want to have, the types of charities we want to donate to and the amounts, essentially our dreams are all the same. But the one thing that is the equalizing factor in this business is time. We all get 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months a year. It's the great equalizer in this business. So how we spend that time is most important, and how we utilize and are efficient with that time is even more important. You know, I remember a time back in 1989, I was a high school senior. Now I know by telling you I was a senior in 1989, you're all out there guessing what my age is. I understand that. But you see, it was senior night, and it was the culmination of 4 years of my basketball career. To top it off, we were playing our arch rival, Elder High School. Now we all have those rivals, right? The ones that make us want to do better, the ones that make us strive to be motivated, the ones that make us want to win at any cost. And Elder High School was mine. For you see, not only was it senior night, not only was it against our arch rival, it was also for the league championship. To say the least, for a high school senior, this was an important night. The first 3 quarters we went back and forth. They took the lead, we'd take it back. We would take the lead, they'd take it back. And it went that way for 3 quarters. As the 4th quarter started, it became evident that Elder was pulling